Welcome to the Political Matrix News. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix. Well, we had to shovel our way through the studio to get here tonight. This is the Political Matrix News. Rob Milford in a rainy and 45-degree Orlando. Greg Fink joining us from Crooked Alachua County, that's Gainesville. What's the weather like out your window right now, Greg?
It's rainy and 41.
You said something about getting ice tonight. Is that the fact?
We're going to get ice tonight. Yeah, we're going to be eating ice at 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
I got ice here in my drink. And then Scott
Miller
is going to give us a ski report for Mount Escambia. Did we decide to call it Mount Escambia or
Mount Molino?
Mount Molino, okay.
Mount Molino.
That is, when you come into Florida, the first major geographical feature you see, topographical perhaps, is the Escambia County landfill, which is several Mount Trashmore. I thought we really were going to name it after a county commissioner. Do we have any disgraced county commissioners in the recent history we could name it after?
Kentucky Underhill. That'd be a great one.
Mount Underhill. Hill is in his name. And so it must be a hill of garbage.
The Underhill Hill.
Exactly.
On the nose, baby.
In case you're watching this, you just got something named after you.
There you go. We're doing this. It is the day after Inauguration Day. I can tell you, just him getting sworn in, Trump getting sworn in yesterday, was a huge relief. Was just a relief. It's one thing that he got elected, and now here we are 2 months and 2 weeks later, and he has now got the job. And man, oh man, I'm really glad that I retired from daily newscasting. I don't think there's any way for anybody to keep track of all the stuff that's happened. Guys?
A little bit.
Just like you eat an elephant, one bite at a time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of elephants, how's the snow in Pensacola as we do this on Tuesday night? That's why I asked for the ski report before we debated the name of the mountain.
It is, the last time I had a snow day in Florida I think I was 7 years old.
So it's been a few years.
It's been a minute, for sure.
Wasn't like this.
And it was not like this. This is right now, out in front of my house, there is at least 7 inches of snow, at least.
Oh man!
I took some pictures from earlier, and there's one that I cleared off the top of the just a section of the top of the toolbox on the back of the truck, just to show you just how thick a blanket of snow it was, and that was at 2:00 this afternoon.
And now you can't tell you cleared it off, right?
Oh no! You can see and I just cleared off a little 4-inch section so you can see the the giant. I mean, it's a giant toolbox, but you can see this much snow because you know for sure where the top of the toolbox is.
The previous record was 4 inches.
Yeah, that's gone. This will be like an all-time record, in other words, for Pensacola.
Exactly. Like Louisiana's previous record was 2.9 inches, and they're at 10 inches right now. So yeah, this is an all-time record for Pensacola. All-time record for Florida.
This is about all the climate change I can take.
Well, no, I think you're looking at it completely the wrong way. You ready? Donald Trump has been in office as we do this about 30 hours. And with regards
to climate change,
he has fixed global warming.
Yes.
He's fixed global 24 hours in office. Boom.
Trump is climate change. Okay, that's actually the answer. Trump is the climate change.
He's the agent of change, yeah.
He's the agent of change, of climate.
All right, so listen, I want everybody in Pensacola to do this, either today or tomorrow, next February 21, 22. Get a picture first thing in the morning, and assuming that all of the snow is still going to be there. When's it supposed to get above freezing?
Thursday, Friday, maybe.
Shit. Oh, man.
Dude, it's rough.
Actually, I think they said you're going to get around 38 degrees tomorrow for like an hour and a half or two. You're going to drop that down to 18.
And that is going to be about it.
In Pensacola, Florida.
Damn.
Yeah. So let's see. The high, the high tomorrow is 34 degrees. The low is 16. Thursday, the high is 40, the low is 23. So how long? And Friday's the same, basically the same thing, 44 and 26.
Whoa.
Saturday it finally gets up to 50 and 27, and then Sunday, 56 and 40.
And in Gainesville, our lows are going to be basically in the 20s starting on Wednesday. And so our highs are going to be a lot higher, but we're not going to have the snow on the ground that y'all have already. We're not going to have the flakes or anything. So
God, your whole week's
let me
going
tell
to
you
be.
something. When the snow was coming down during the day, it was like big
it
flakes.
was, yeah.
Okay.
It was
Greg,
interesting.
I sent you two pictures. If you want to show them up right here, the first one is, of course, Pensacola Beach, the beach ball, and in the middle of a blizzard. It's the freaking beach ball. It's taken from the high rise directly behind the sand shaker. Directly behind. Looks like I've got the 12th, 14th floor up there. I've been on top of that building for the air show. Holy mackerel, what a great view that is.
And that's right on the water for people who don't know. That is right on the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. You got the parking lot.
Gulf of America, that's right. Gulf of America.
Did you not see the news statement that Governor DeSantis put out declaring a state of emergency? Greg, I'll send that to you, and you can plug that in right here, the text of the state of emergency from Ron DeSantis. I believe that was yesterday afternoon, and said because of the low pressure system over the Gulf of America. Let me tell you.
He said that, really?
Yes. Yes, he really did. Get on board, man.
Trump is not innovating here.
It's a
Countries
train.
can call places whatever the heck they want.
It's a Trump
and
train.
The innovative thing here is that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had several people say that the Gulf of America is a stupid idea or not, and I actually, personally like it. I mean, secondly, there's more mileage on the American side than there's the Mexico side anyway, in my opinion. I think statistically that might be correct.
There's an argument to be made for the Gulf of Texas. There really is.
There is.
The Gulf of Florida doesn't really sound terribly bad. And
there's
right there
in
the 850, wait till you hear Scott Miller say the Gulf of Pensacola.
Yes.
The Gulf of Pensacola.
Doesn't that have a nice ring to it?
That's what
it does have a nice ring to it.
That's what you get President.
But I'm a patriot, and I'm just saying, and I'm down with the Gulf of America.
Or whenever Matt Gaetz becomes president in 10 years.
Whatever.
Jesus.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, I jest.
No, you don't. You already have done the research.
No, I have not.
You have, and you're right, and you know it, and it's really that's going to eat at us. I'll have an ulcer over that crap.
I'm sure he's working in the club right now, doing makeup somewhere. Who knows?
It ain't going to be pretty. Okay, so Senator Ashley Moody, when does she get sworn in?
Yesterday.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. She's senator now.
So she is in D.C. now. Okay.
She is.
Okay. I think Marco Rubio did vote for himself.
No, actually he did not.
He did not. That's why the vote was
skipped the vote. It was 99-0.
99-0.
So,
all right.
J.D. Vance skipped the vote.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Okay, so he did vote for himself.
He did vote for himself then. Yeah, which I thought was great. That was a unanimous vote for Marco. I mean,
it is.
It is very good that it's unanimous. I mean, we haven't had a unanimous confirmation vote in, I don't think, a while, have we?
A long, long time.
I don't remember the last one.
All right, so
usually they're voting against good candidates just on principle.
Exactly. You should be a Democrat, or a Republican or opposite party.
Well, obviously, Marco's a pretty likable guy. Okay, I have no problem with that.
Or maybe they're just, being the cynic that I am, I feel it's probably just as likely that the Democrats want to say, no, when you put up qualified people, we'll vote for them, but not any of these other losers.
Exactly.
Well, the honeymoon didn't last long, at least on The View, but I got to tell you something. Were I Donald Trump, the next time I was in New York, I would make sure that I stopped by the studio where they do The View, and I would have my Secret Service detail with me, I would walk in the back door and I would walk right out onto the stage and sit down and just look at them and say, "Girls, what do you want to talk about?"
What
Right
do you
now,
want to
here
talk
I'm
about?
I'm right here. You know?
Oh, I love this. I love this.
And that's all he has to say. That's all he has to say.
Absolutely. How do you make the movie play? I love the movie. The movie's awesome.
We'll go ahead and play the movie at the end, and we'll go ahead and enter a segment with the movie of him coming down. And it's pretty cool. When you go to whitehouse.gov, they create a whole little feature film about, Trump. And
within minutes of him being
minutes.
sworn in, it changed.
I mean, I think the whole idea here is that, and one thing people are going to realize is that his love for content creation with TikTok and some freedom of speech and
he's got
social media.
He's got Musk. He's got he's got Bezos. These are the kings of content.
He's been all of them. I mean, he's his whole idea with, the entire that tech oligarchs that people want to talk about is not tech oligarchs. It's really tech freedom for all of us to actually have free speech and everything out there. And that Biden, for some reason, was a miss the entire time he was there. Then again, after knowing what we know about Biden, it's surprising he even knew their names at the end of the day.
Yeah,
he was probably a miss on a lot of things. But the entire concept here is that, I think the next 4 years we're going to see a very big, political theater in motion of exactly the behind the scenes of how the government really does work and how things actually happen. The transparency is going to be at a whole different level, and I think we're going to see that in real time.
Well, the Democrats are still being the Democrats and still playing their normal playbook, where they, I can criticize you, but you can't criticize me. For example, when they were talking about how Elon Musk and the other billionaires that are surrounding Trump now are the beginning of the oligarchy.
Right.
I forget which one of the commentators it was that pointed this out, but he said that, that if you want to talk about oligarchy, I'm pretty sure that Joe Biden gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to the first two guys that qualify as oligarchs.
Brett Hume mentioned that, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
And also, but I mean, the whole reality here is that, their playbook is getting thin, because as much as they're the oligarchs, or they say they are for Trump now, they're also their contributors. They're maxed out contributors for them. And the hypocrisy is running very, very thin.
For sure.
I wonder if Trump, since it is the Presidential Medal of Freedom, I'm wondering if Trump could revoke George Soros's.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty damn funny when he pulled Mark Milley's portrait down from the Pentagon.
I thought that was hysterical. Apparently, one of those things they signed. It's one of those things they signed yesterday. Stripped security clearances of all 51 intel guys.
That was my favorite thing of the entire thing. I was praying from the day he won his election that he was going to do that.
All those guys from those different agencies who said that he is a conspirator of evil change and evil Russian hoax and blah 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 blah. But the thing is, as far as George Soros goes, we got his one of his right hand guys for Treasury Secretary, and Bassett and everything. So I think we might not want to rock the boat too much with that.
All right, now I'm on Breitbart, okay, and they have set up almost a stream, and the headlines from in the last hour: Trump announces $500 billion artificial intelligence investment in America. $500 billion. Okay, an hour before that, India to take back 18,000 Indian migrants living in the U.S. illegally. Put them on a plane, send them east. Okay. Donald Trump tells staffers to defund sanctuary cities and pro-migrant groups. So in other words, U.S. aid to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, turn it off right now. Not in the next budget, now, today. Today. John Bolton stripped of Secret Service detail after he was stripped of his security clearance. He probably had what I would call Secret Service light. He's the guy, former National Security Advisor. He of a great mustache. I mean, that really is a great mustache.
Hawk. I mean, he's a great security hawk.
Yeah, and he probably had like a 4-man detail. You know, maybe 2 driving the Suburban and 2 in a chase car. That sort of thing.
Because he did a lot of dangerous stuff for Bush.
Well, there you go. So, disappointed. Criticism, blah, 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 blah. Act to support Trump and birthright citizenships for illegal aliens. Texas Congressman Brian Babin introduced the Birthright Citizenship Act on Tuesday. It's just the first one of these to be filed 2 hours ago. 3 hours. 3 hours ago, Americans love Barron. The kid didn't smile enough. He did not smile. Neither did Trump, actually. Massachusetts,
they're nervous.
Paying the government back $2.1 billion after pandemic funding error. And this is all, I mean, it's just nonstop. Just.
There's an SNL skit that actually talks about this. I mean, in fact, the way SNL opened up their segment this week is they're pretending to be a newscast. And every
you mean like
seconds,
CNN?
Yeah, exactly. Every 5 seconds is breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. It's like maybe one day we'll be able to get to the news, but Trump is breaking the news every 20 seconds.
Trump stripped security clearance from former retired General Michael Hayden, an advisor to NewsGuard, the establishment pro-censorship group operating a news blacklist against conservatives. Now, Hayden is the former director of the National Security Agency. And it's interestingly enough, when I was in Pittsburgh 2005, 2008, his brother was the bishop of Pittsburgh.
Right.
So we called when he got appointed, I'm on the phone with the bishop going, yo, when's your bro coming to town? We just want to say hi, and simple, like 3 questions and out. He hooked us up. It was very nice.
That's good.
Man, oh, man. Oh, wow.
Right now, I mean,
I will tell you that the one thing that I'm a little uncomfortable with that Trump has been saying repeatedly about TikTok, where he's talking about making a deal and then having the United States, I think what he's saying that he wants the government of the United States to have an equity interest in that, and I don't know that I'm comfortable with that at all.
And basically, I think that the rationale is that we're trusting Chinese government with this, so why don't we just trust the government, American government?
Because they're communists and we're not. Because
you're exactly right there, and that's the right answer. And unfortunately, he's being flippant about it, and he's saying it's worth $1 trillion, so we'll just buy it for $1 trillion.
Well, actually, he pointed over to Larry Ellison and said, "Hey, Larry, you want to buy it?" And he said, "You think that's a good deal?" And Larry says, "Yeah, it's a great deal." He says, "Yeah," and he's got the money to buy it, and Larry Ellison does have the money to buy it.
Yeah. But China's not going to sell it at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, he's right. Trump was very right about one thing when he was talking about it. With a license to operate in the United States, that thing is worth probably, maybe worth $1 trillion. That may not be an exaggeration. But without it, it's worth nothing.
It'd be a great emergency alert system.
That's about it.
Government, yeah.
Wow. And by the way, all federal government workers should be reporting to their office within a week or so.
Yeah.
Man,
but they're not going to. And several of the blue states are not going to enforce that. So what are the repercussions going to be? What's going to happen?
The hits just keep on coming. Now, I mean, between the snow day, all this stuff coming from President Trump, and Notre Dame losing, I have been on fire.
There you go.
Okay, you have to bring the Notre Dame game in, okay? The Ohio State coach looks like Satan, and for some reason they still won.
I don't care. Notre Dame is overrated. They've been overrated since the 90s.
Okay,
True. It doesn't matter. Notre Dame should be in Division II. I mean, it's been decades since they had a schedule in which the teams they played were over 500.
Okay,
Let's
well,
talk-
And
let
yet
me-
somehow
let me-
they-
Okay,
they both
I've
have
got
very good
specific.
quarterbacks that paid for.
All right, I've got very specific information on this. My dad was in radio after WW2. He's at the University of Virginia at the radio stations in Charlottesville. He worked with a guy by the name of Ray Scott, who ended up with a long, long career at CBS Sports. They stayed in touch. But even back then, they were taught. Dad's being the disc jockey, Ray's his sportscaster, and reads commercials and that sort of. So they start talking, and it turns out the reason that before World War II, so the 30s through into the 40s, that the three teams that were carried nationally, Army, Navy, and Notre Dame. How about that?
Yeah.
Because their kids come from all over the country, and they're thinking, who would care anywhere in the West Coast who's on playing at Penn State or Ohio State? Only people in that state care about it. This is when the radio technical thing. There were only so many lines going so many different directions, and that's what they had to do. That's where Notre Dame commenced the hype. Well, they did have Newt Rockne, and by the way, the coach of Ohio State has got a higher winning percentage other than Newt Rockne and one other guy. He's got the highest winning percentage of any coach in NCAA history. Number 3 on the all-time list.
Yeah, he's 90-10.
Yeah, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
He made a deal with the devil.
And look, I'm not saying Notre Dame has never been a good program. I'm saying they haven't been a good program since the 90s.
I'm just saying
they've been an okay program.
Being a Florida Gator person, Lou Holtz went to Notre Dame, and we like Lou Holtz.
Don't care.
We're not knocking Lou Holtz.
We don't like Ohio State.
I don't care. See, that's how bad things are. I don't like Ohio State either. And I had to root for those suckers last night.
It hurt me so bad.
That's how bad it is.
I cried. I did cry.
I was so happy. I wish that it had been a blowout. I mean, Notre Dame managed to come back a little bit.
It should have been a blizzard at the game like it was for the NFL games.
No, I don't care about it. No, I don't care about any of that. I mean, prove it on the field, and that's what they did. Notre Dame went out there and proved who they are.
Yes, they were a second-rate team last night. That's true.
Exactly.
However,
there is nothing. No, stop. There is nothing in the world but nostalgia that keeps them coming back to this, to somehow getting appointed into a seat in this thing, and they promptly go all the way to the main game and lose, just like they always do, because they're not qualified to be there. The only reason they do well at the beginning of the tournament is because they've been playing such crappy teams all year,
and you're not
that they're able to keep their better players healthy because they can pull them earlier.
That's the reason why the SEC doesn't have anybody in the final 2 games. The SEC by that time had been beaten up so badly. Ohio State hadn't been beaten up at all. Notre Dame hadn't been beaten up at all.
Georgia, whoa!
No,
Ohio State.
Not compared to the schedule. Georgia,
Ohio State
South
lost
Carolina.
to Michigan. They lost to
Michigan.
Michigan.
This year.
I know, but they still beat Ohio State.
Yeah, they beat Ohio State as a fluke. In
Ann Arbor, they are taking pride of the fact we beat the national champion.
The national champion, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And then the SEC, which is God's conference, is by any stretch of the imagination the toughest conference there is by far. I mean, every team is going to play 10 teams out of a 12-game season in the top 15.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida had the second hardest schedule this year. Next year, we have the hardest schedule. I mean, Florida's schedule.
All the teams that we play are over 500.
They're all over, they're basically all over 800.
Sure.
I mean,
could we talk about something important? Could we talk about something important?
It has to do with this whole week of a golden age. This has to do with the golden age.
All right, hold on. Let's talk about why Marco Rubio only got 99 votes. And that's because J.D. Vance was busy watching the game.
Oh, that's horrible.
He's an Ohio State guy. What do you expect?
Exactly. As the game was going on, I was saying, it's too bad all this other inauguration stuff is going on now because J.D. Vance is going to miss one of the first Ohio national championships in a while.
Now he's acting like Dan Quayle.
Actually, you know what though? I think Trump. It was kind of a deal with Trump that if he would take that day, like Trump's idea, for him to take the day off so that he can come back, and all the media is going to be interested in talking to him, say, "Hey, where were you yesterday?" He can do a quick blurb on that, and then reiterate any message that Trump wanted him to.
Yep. Okay, I got you on that. Can we talk about something important, gentlemen? A week from right now, we will be talking about the victor in the 1st Congressional District of Florida to replace, what's his name? Some guy, I forget his name. It sounded like
Rat. He whose name shall not be spoken.
Now, you know what? That's a good idea. He whose name will not be spoken. The artist formerly known as Print. Okay, so who's going to win next week, and why?
Why? I think well, you have. I think there's 3 guys at the top of the chain, in my opinion. I think we'll end up being right. It's going to be Petronis, Merck, or Valentino. Petronis is endorsed by Trump, and basically that's been his entire campaign. Vote for me. I was endorsed by Trump. Trump asked me to run, so he's basically running as a guy who was, put there to run for on Trump's behalf. Valentino, in my opinion, we are familiar with Valentino. In fact, he is a former client of Scott and mine, and Rob's as well. And he is a good guy, but he has a lot of issues here in with not being elected or not winning the last couple of re-elections, everything else. And so he has not been in public office for a while. He's also a lot older, and so he's 72 years old. And so he's past the age threshold that this district is usually looking at when they're looking at a congressman. And so we have Greg Merck, who is our client. And so I'm fully biased on that one, but he is also a very good America First client. He's a former Navy and Air Force pilot, and he's an 82nd Airborne Ranger. He is very, very big on the military issues. He's also a financial planner and financial consultant with his master's degree from Georgetown, where he actually went back to school at Georgetown and graduated at the top of his class while he's in his 50s. I mean, he is doing it remotely. That hardly ever happens. I mean, that is some dedication off the chain.
Really is.
And Greg Merck.
Show the drop right here. Drop in the image of Merck from the mailer that is going out to get to people before they go to the polls next Tuesday.
Actually, we'll go ahead and drop both images of both mailers that we did already.
No, I want to see. No, I don't care about the second one is the winner, and Scott's sitting there nodding, going, "Yeah, I did that. I'm cool.
Yeah, well,
and here it is.
I like it.
Here it is. Look at this. My flight jacket is my resume. I about fell out of the freaking chair when I saw that. That's how impressive that is. I wish you guys had come up with that about 6 or 8 years ago when he was running for state house. Oh well, you do the best you can.
But his character is very good, and I really hope he wins the election here. I mean, he's the one that actually reflects the district the best right now.
I agree.
I mean, and you think about this. This is a largely military district because we've got a huge Air Force base and a large Navy presence, which he represents both of. Because he was a Navy helo pilot, and he was a strategic bomber pilot for the Air Force.
I mean, we haven't had a military veteran represent this district since Earl Hutto, and he was in the Guard and everything. So we haven't had one since then. And since that time, also, we've lost more military missions as a result of that. And I mean, maybe not as a result of who's there or who's not there, but as a result of what's important and what's not important. Military guys seem to know exactly what's important or essential versus not essential for their areas that they're serving in.
Yeah,
he whose name really did that very well.
He whose name shall not be mentioned that was elected originally in 2016, between 2018 and 2020, in his second go, he allowed not one but 2 squadrons of aircraft to leave Eglin Air Force Base. They will never, ever come back. I figure it's about 2,000 jobs plus families. We're talking about that's a whole other Publix and a Walgreens and a CVS and
the ripple effects are staggering.
Exactly. The whole multiplier effects is huge.
Yeah,
how it affects the entire community like that.
Since I'm getting the wrap sign here on behalf of Greg Fink, staying warm in Gainesville, and Scott Miller, literally trying to keep the snow out of the door in Pensacola. I'm Rob in Orlando. We'll see you next time on the Political Matrix News.